The federal government spends over $600 billion a year. And I'm here to share with you steps to get a government contract. You have to add value. What problems do you solve? Why should the federal government work with you when there's thousands upon thousands of different contracting companies out there? What do you offer that's maybe a little different, perhaps unique, or maybe you offer something that somebody else offers? However, you add a little twist, or your client relation skills are amazing because the federal government wants their lives to be easy. Don't we all? Isn't that why we shop at places like Amazon? You also have to ask yourself, what is your business model? So I'm gonna share my screen and walk through several things. You're gonna notice that throughout this video. Money making idea matrix. We're just gonna jump right into it. Because if you're not making money, this isn't a business. It's not. It's something you do for fun. Maybe it's a hobby. But when it comes to a business, regardless of who your client is, it is all about being able to make money so you stay in business. You know, one stat just to be aware of before I jump into this, 80% of Black-owned businesses fail within 18 months. I own 3 multi-million-dollar companies, so I know it can be done. It's just that we have to have these tough kind of conversations, these raw, honest conversations. And that's why we're beginning here with money, because value is involved with money. So you have to ask yourself, what is my money-making idea? And I have this matrix here for you to help you walk through it. So what you're gonna wanna do is come up with ideas. What are you interested in offering to the federal government? Is there a profitable need for it? Is this something you could scale? Will this bring you joy? How long do you want to do this? And you may be asking yourself, well, how do I even figure this out? Where do I even begin? Don't ask too many questions. Just dream. Dream like you did when you were a little kid. You just dream. What are some ideas? Hey, initially when I started out, I loved training. I loved helping with diversity and inclusion. I loved analyzing data. I loved just being of help. Was there a profitable need? Yes, there's always going to be a need for diversity and inclusion training. Is that something I could scale? At that time, yes. Did it bring me joy? Immense joy. I even have a book published on the title. It's surreal. How long did I want to do it? At the time, I thought, hey, I'm going to do it as long as I'm able to do it. Had no idea, right? But what I did have an idea about is dreaming, just like you did when you were a little kid. And I knew that diversity and inclusion training, data analytics was value added. How? There are job openings for it. Private sector clients were out there. The federal government spends money on it. I just knew from just checking out things on Google. So dream. Don't get caught up in the competition. Dream. You just dream. You know, if you have to, you don't have to type it. You can even use crayons or markers. Allow yourself to dream. This is so important. It's very, very important. Hey, moving on here. Money-making idea formula. This is just as important as coming up with your money-making ideas or idea. It has to be profitable, something you enjoy. There has to be some type of reoccurring revenue. We're going to talk a little bit more about this, okay? But this is the formula that I have created, and this will help you stay in business. So you may be wondering, what in the heck is this? What is NAICS? Why is this on her screen? I know. So it stands for North American Industry Classification System. And what we're going to do is take a look at some other areas that are related to this that I have set aside for you. Okay, so this is the NAICS website. So I'm going to share this link with you. What's really important is the federal government, they use this NAICS system to organize, to classify products and services that they need. This is very important because so many people will say, well, I offer this medical device, private sector clients love it. I know the VA is going to need it. Okay, maybe not, but you have to at least have an understanding of how are they classifying it? What terms should you use to even determine if they really want this? Is this really a problem for them that they need you to solve? Perhaps it's not, or maybe somebody else is already solving it, or there's a different type of problem out there. So let's go a little deep. So what you're going to end up doing is taking your ideas and you're going to now correspond or kind of exchange them with NAICS codes. So I kind of look at it as like a currency exchange, like you're going to a Cambio and you're exchanging dollars for a different kind of currency, maybe Canadian dollars or something of that sort. That's basically what you're doing is you're exchanging your ideas with these NAICS codes so you have a good idea of if the government is interested in these areas and things of that sort. So we're going to run with it. So in order to look up the different NAICS that correspond with your ideas, you need to go to this website and I will provide the link. So you go here and you're going to type in the keywords from the list that you had over here. You're going to type in the different keywords. So we are going to start with training because that is where I started out in the government space. You're going to see something interesting. And I also want to share this. This is very important. As you go through this journey, several of these links, different websites, they're not going to load as fast as TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, Google. There's going to be a little bit of a delay. And this isn't because I'm screen recording. It's just how it is. So another thing that's really important when it comes to steps to get a government contract, you have to have patience. You must have patience. It's just how it is. It's okay. It's okay. Just take a deep breath. It's okay. So what I want you to notice is as follows. You have apprenticeship training, computer, professional, flight. Look at all of these. Wow, there's a lot. So the area that I like to focus in on because I found that a ton of work is typically under this area is what's called professional and management development training. Okay. But I already know that. So if I were to fill this out, I would put down training and then that NAICS I just showed you. But you're going to put and populate every single NAICS that comes up. You may find when you look at this that you're like, what? Hey, flight training, that sounds kind of cool. I'm also interested in vocational rehabilitation services. Hey, why not? List all of the NAICS that are of interest to you because remember the formula. This is about what brings you not only profit, not only reoccurring revenue, it has to be something that you like. If you don't like doing it, then you might as well just work for someone. And I'm not suggesting that when you work for someone that you're miserable. What I'm suggesting is it is such a blessing and such an honor to be an entrepreneur and to help fuel the economy, but it's something I love. I always knew since I was a little girl I was going to be an entrepreneur. I love it. But there are some things I don't love. There are some areas that I don't enjoy, and we just don't focus on them with my flagship company. So own it. It's okay. It's okay to own it. So you're going to want to go back through here, list all of your ideas, and list all the corresponding NAICS. And you may need several pieces of paper because as you notice, look at what came up just under training. A lot, right? A lot of things here. The other big piece when it comes to steps to get a government contract involves your business model. And let me explain. You have to ask yourself, are you an expert or are you an entrepreneur? You just went through the steps where you identified all of these ideas, you identified all of these NAICS codes. Now you have to ask yourself, are you in a position where you yourself, you want to provide said products or services? Or are you at the place where you're like, look, I am open to anything that will make me a buck. I'm interested in products, services. I heard you can sell kosher potato chips and pancake mix and trainers and IT. I want to do it all. Just let's do it, Kizzy. Let's go. Okay, that's cool. You can do it. Or maybe you want to do a little of both. It's okay. This is awesome. I'm going to show you what you need to do for both paths. If you want to be an expert or if you wanted to be more of an entrepreneur. When I first started out, I was definitely an expert. I had a PhD. I was like Dr. Parks. I thought everyone was just gonna, pay me for my expertise. And I love diversity and inclusion and training and analytics. And that's the approach I took. I was the expert. I was the doctor. Contact the doctor. That's the role I was in. So let's take a look at what that really means and what that entails for those of you who are interested in being paid for your expertise, because the federal government has a variety of opportunities that speak to you, to every single one of you watching. But before I show you, I know you may already be thinking, wow, we're this far into the video and you haven't talked about set-asides or being in SAM or anything like that. That's correct. Because I had none of those things when I got my first contract. Because you don't need those to get your first contract. You have to add value. So let's take a look at that. So I'm going to share my screen again. So for those of you that want to take more of the expert route, you are going to want to go to the Dynamic Small Business Search website. I will also include the link below. Keep in mind, this website takes a long time to load, as I stated before. So what's really cool about this website is you can look up any and everything in terms of small businesses registered with the federal government to contract with them as a prime contractor. So what I recommend is that number one, you select the state where you live, because we as people like to connect with people who are like us. So you're not going to really know where do they go to school, or if they're into sports, do they have kids, where did they grow up, did they serve in the military? You're not going to know all of that yet. However, you can at least connect on the state level. Hey, I live in Florida. You live in Florida? Oh my gosh, I would love to help you. We're both in Florida. We like to help people in which we have something in common with them. We like that. We like the in-group. In-group is very important. So here, what you're gonna do is select the state and you're gonna put in a NAICS code. I suggest you do one NAICS code at a time, because you're gonna get so many results that is going to seem like you are in the cereal aisle at the grocery store. I don't want you to be overwhelmed whatsoever. I want you to have that feeling when you go out for brunch and it's a prefix menu and you're like, wow, this is great. They have 7 items in there. This is awesome. You don't have so many things to choose from, right? Okay, let's get into it here. So when you search this, I promise, it's going to lead to this. And feel free to try this on your own. So when you go here, you're going to notice the name of the firm, the point of contact, it has their address, and what they do. So let's say you are a trainer. Your area of expertise is soft skills. So you may glean through here and say, okay, they offer project management, process improvement, administrative support. Okay, you're going through and you're like, okay, Global Resilience Group, they offer diversity, equity and inclusion, positive outcomes. Okay, this involves soft skills. Maybe that's a company I want to connect with. Well, you are in luck, because guess what? Did you catch it here at the top? Did you see this? There are over 1,500 companies that match this profile. It's insane. You can go back here and drill things down, which I'll have to touch upon in another video. But for now, at least it's like this hopefully provides you the confidence to know, oh my gosh, there's over 1,500 companies that could potentially use my expertise. And remember, we just used the training NAICS, right? That's it. One NAICS, 1,500. So the next step is you're going to want to contact them. You can click here and it'll give you more information. Keep in mind, it takes a little bit to load. We have tons of information here. You have when the profile was last updated, you have the name of the firm, you have their address, you have their phone number, all of their websites, their email address. You also get more information about the ownership of the firm. This firm in particular is Black owned, other minority owned, self-certified. You can see all of that there. And you can also see the NAICS codes. So in addition to 611430, you see the other NAICS, and perhaps these NAICS align with those that you came up with in your ideas and NAICS matrix, potentially. So the next step is you're going to reach out to the point of contact. Shawnisa, yeah, I think it's Shawnisa Willis, potentially. And you may wonder, well, what do you say? Well, guess what? I have that for you. I have it for you. Oh my gosh. I love this space so much because it changed my life. Being able to help the federal government with all these amazing missions, it just makes me so happy. So hopefully you'll have as much joy as I do, and hopefully you find this helpful. Okay, so what you're gonna wanna do, email, call, LinkedIn. If you don't have a LinkedIn profile, we're gonna talk about that in a different video. In the interim, email and call. Your goal is to contact at least 100 companies because someone's going to say yes. There's no reason when the federal government spends over $600 billion a year on contracts that you can't at least earn $50,000 through government contracting. So you're going to contact the point of contact here, and you're going to just send an email like this. Put in their information, and you're going to call, email. I would do this at least once a week. What you're also going to do is look the person up on LinkedIn. I'm not going to go into great detail because you may not have a LinkedIn account. For those of you who have a LinkedIn account, simply log into LinkedIn, look up the person, and contact them. Same thing, DM them. And here's another bonus tip. In LinkedIn, whenever you engage with one of their posts, if the person has any kind of post, even if their last post was from a year ago, that person will be notified that you engaged with them. You're going to end up on their radar. And that's what you want. You want to show them that you have value. There's something that you can offer that's going to make their life easier and ultimately make the life easier of their government client. Since they're registered in this system, they're able and may potentially have federal government contracts. And so you, who wants to be an expert, you are an expert, this is the perfect opportunity for you to have additional revenue. So I'm going to show this one more time so you can take a look. For those of you who want to take more of the entrepreneur, I have some things for you too. I'm going to share my screen, continue sharing my screen. So where you're going to end up going is Sam.Gov. Now, you may be asking yourself, or you may be saying, but Kizzy, I'm not registered. How am I even going to be able? It's okay. Promise you, I was not registered in SAM. I had 0 certification, and I received my very first contract that was a little less than $100,000. How? Because I offered value, and the agency put me as a subcontractor through a prime contractor's contract vehicle. So don't get caught up in the weeds. Value rules all. So you're going to go to Sam.Gov. And when you're here on Sam.Gov, you're going to go to contract opportunities. Then you're going to go to advanced search. You're also going to want to make sure you have this in front of you because you're going to need your NAICS codes, because I want to show you some things that are very important. When you're here, you now want to go to set aside. Small business. Why? As a small business, and for those who have contracts with the government as small business owners, you cut out all this competition. You're cutting out IBM and Deloitte because it can be very difficult to compete against a large company. I'm not suggesting you can't. Hey, as a small business owner, I have 3 government contracting companies, each with well over $1 million of work on them. In total, I've won over $50 million. We had beat big companies before. But when you're first starting out, or even if you have 10 years experience in government contracting, it's nice to weed in opportunities and weed out the competition, right? You don't want to have to worry about that. So total small business, this set aside basically applies to any and all small businesses. As soon as you sign up in SAM, or for those of you who are already registered in SAM, more than likely you're going to be a small business, okay? So you're going to go here, you're going to click total small business. Next, we are going to go to product or service. And you notice that lovely NAICS code comes up again. So you're literally going to either go to your sheet, or you can go here and you're going to cut and paste the NAICS code that you're interested in. And it's going to populate. Now, you may say, well, Kizzy, why don't you just type in training? This is not Google. Patience is important. This is not Google. This is not YouTube. It's best to put that aside, just cut and paste the NAICS code. It's gonna make your life easy. And you probably notice, bam, automatically all of these things populated. And what's important is over here on the right, well, it's my right, it might be your left. You want to select updated date, because if not, you're going to get opportunities from 2017. Unless you have a time machine, maybe you do, I don't know. If you do, can we please talk? It's not gonna be of help. So just literally click updated date. Okay, so what we're going to do is just review what's here. Space Mission Engineering course. Ooh, that sounds fun. Save a back training. Sounds like something to help with back, eliminate back pain. Okay, great. Retirement webinar. Ooh, academic support. Radio frequency training. Project management training. MODS introduction course. So you notice a wide variety of topics. That's why it's very important, especially for you entrepreneurs. You have to ask yourself what not only will bring you profit, what's enjoyable, and what will bring you reoccurring revenue. Because just because the government wants save a back training does not mean that's something you even want to offer. But here's the big takeaway. The way we see things, the way we want to offer products and services don't always align one-to-one with how the government purchases. That is why we have the NAICS codes, because all of these opportunities here fall under training, right? They all fall under training. So then you have to ask yourself, okay, I'm interested in training. I like training. This woman, Dr. Park, says it's profitable. Okay, so are you okay then with offering save a back training, retirement training, training for the Marine Corps? If the answer is yes, then that's awesome. Because then what you do is you find experts to serve as employees or 1099 contractors to then execute the work. There is a large company called Management Concepts. This is one of their practices. They hone in on professional services training. They also offer contracting acquisition training. And they have this model where they have employees, they have contractors, they have subcontractors. And pretty much the majority of what they provide is training. It's an amazing business. And I believe their profit margin is anywhere from 20 to 40%. So it's an awesome area because it fits well with this formula. I want to recap right now, because I've given you all a lot of information. But don't worry, because I'm going to dig deeper into what to look for, how to really examine. But I don't want to give you a 90-minute video, because you're going to end up going, next, I need out of this. I got it. So what I want to leave you with is hope. I want to leave you with a lot of hope, because everything is truly possible. It is, because it happened for me. And I'm not saying that because I'm lucky or I was born into some privileged family. I didn't serve in the military. I didn't work for the federal government. I offered value. I ran with an opportunity, and I continue to offer value. So before we kind of close, the same goes for you. You want to offer value. You want to look at that money-making idea matrix, explore if you're an entrepreneur or an expert. And most importantly, you want something that brings you joy, something you enjoy doing, that you're fired up about. And I know this video was helpful. If there are any kind of topics or anything else you would love for me to cover, please comment below. And don't forget, every single thing is possible. Take care, you guys.